Hello, Ree, and welcome to That's Football for our World Cup watch-along. It's the opening game. It's Qatar entertaining the might of Ecuador in this first game of this, what I would describe as a different World Cup. I think we've got to be a bit fair now, haven't we, and focus on the football, because the football is about to start. It doesn't mean that we can't have conversations as this World Cup progresses about what it is and why it is and all those things. I certainly don't think we should be silent on that, but it is a football tournament, and we do need to obviously acknowledge that. Am I excited? I'm probably more curious than excited. I've got a lot of doubts about it. I cannot move away from the fact that I just think it's going to have a detrimental effect on the Premier League, the Champions League, and everything else, and I think it already has. I completely disagree with these fools who say the injuries aren't because the World Cup's in November. I mean, I think we are getting a lot more injuries because of the volume of games, to be honest with you. But look, what you can't deny is that Manchester United are not playing in this tournament. Hence, I don't know why I said it. But what you can't deny is the players are excited about it and fans are excited about it. I'm intrigued to see the first game because I'm intrigued to see the stadia. I'm intrigued to see what the crowds are like. And I'm intrigued to see this game because obviously there's been rumours around it about bribery and stuff, which surely is complete nonsense. I personally think Ecuador should be winning this game quite comfortably, but I'm told that Qatar are actually quite good. So, I mean, look, you look at the pictures on the TV and it's just wealth. We're in Qatar, all the boats, the weather, all the buildings. It's just money. That's what we're all about, isn't it? And I think that, it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, we've got the team news coming up for you on the screen there. Ethan says, why are you not in the studio? I'll answer this once and then we won't be mentioning it again. We will be in the studio for some of the World Cup watch-alongs. There's going to be 4 a day, 3 tomorrow, and then 4 a day from Tuesday for about 10 days. So some of the watch-alongs will be in the studio. But I don't live in Manchester and I don't propose to go and live in Manchester for 2 weeks. So hence we will be using my studio, which is this, and we'll be using the real studio as well. There's lots of football, there's lots of games. So if you just want to watch the studio ones, tune in. And if it's in the studio, you can watch. And if you don't like it, you can disappear. That's the beauty of free content, isn't it? Anyway, back to the World Cup. There has been some news today. Just a bit of England news. Let you know, Road to Dawn, I want to talk about Benzema. Can I just say at the start as well, I said it on the United Stand this morning, and I must say it here, because we actually did it on here. Yesterday, we raised £32,000 in 12 hours for people with terminal illness. We've been doing it for 3 years, and the total is now 100k that we've raised as a community. So I just want to say, look, I know it happened yesterday, and the World Cup's starting today, but never forget that's a massive achievement. So well done to this community. It can do great things together. You are fantastic. A little bit of England news coming in. I think the Telegraph has reported this. Harry Maguire is expected to start tomorrow. In fact, I have the message here. Harry Maguire is expected to start tomorrow. I don't think that is a surprise for anybody. And also, we have got, where was it? Harry Maguire is expected to start, Raheem Sterling is expected to start, and Kieran Trippier is expected to start at right back. Probably not breaking news there, but, that's what it is. Can I also just draw your attention to the fact that we have got this stats bar that we've been trialling on the United Stand for the first couple of months of the season. We basically set it up for the World Cup because we knew there was going to be loads of games where people wouldn't know the names of players, etc. So you can see that's the Qatar team there. The Ecuador team will come across in a minute. If anyone gets subbed off, they'll get a little red arrow near their arse, basically. If there's a goal, it'll go on their left shoulder. And if there's yellow cards or red cards, you'll see that as well. You probably notice and recognise some of the Ecuador players more than you will the Qatar players. But you'll also notice in the top left-hand corner, there's a little QR code. I'd just like to say a big shout out to OneFootball, who are our stats carousel sponsor. OneFootball is a fantastic app that you can download for free through that QR code in the top left-hand corner or through the link in the video description. So make sure you do it. It's free to download on all platforms. You can get all your latest football news and stats as well with the OneFootball app, who now sponsor our stats carousel. So big shout out to OneFootball. Check that QR code. I'm told it will work if you try and scan it. I know it's a little bit of a little one, but it will work. Or you can go through the link in the video description and download it for free. Big shout out to OneFootball. Road to Dawn says, I'm gutted for Benzema. Shame for the tournament to have the best player in the world missing. Gutted is not the word, Road to Dawn. I'm absolutely devastated. I was devastated. So that's good. What is it?
It's a pen.
All right. I was gutted about Mane, really. But why are people saying Chelsea versus Newcastle? Am I missing something here? Chelsea versus Newcastle? Am I missing something? Newcastle versus Chelsea, let's go. A little bit confused here. What's the Chelsea thing going on about? I'm not aware of anything that says Chelsea versus Newcastle. So are people getting an old thumbnail or something like that? I'm not aware of anything, so let us know, because it's definitely not Chelsea versus Newcastle. As much as many of us would prefer to probably watch Chelsea against Newcastle than Qatar against Ecuador, I can rest assured there will be no Chelsea or Newcastle in this tournament. So let us know what's going on with that, because I've got no idea on my side, and everything is looking great. So thank you very much for that. We're all good. We're all good. Now I've got Qatar versus Ecuador on everything. Absolutely everything. You've made me throw my thought now. The thumb is Chelsea, Newcastle. Well, it's not for me, so there we go. Just refresh, and it will change. Ecuador is top in the group, says No Name. They did finish top of the group. I was doing a World Cup FIFA stream yesterday, and Ecuador actually did finish top of their group. So I don't know whether that's an indication or just FIFA being silly, but you never know, that could happen. But no, just going back to that point there, I got sent some message from somebody today saying that, oh, have you seen this person's saying that the injuries aren't happening because of the World Cup and they could happen at any time. It's a nonsense. Having the World Cup at this time is absolutely to do with the fact that we are going to pick up a lot of injuries. Statistically, you do get more injuries in November than you do in May. And obviously, that is why we've got a lot of players out. I think Mane is, Mane being out is a real big shame. But then losing Benzema as well is absolutely gutting. So, yeah, I'm generally just really disappointed by it. I think it potentially, I'm going to say this now, and everything these days gets clipped up and taken out of context. My prediction with England is the quarterfinals, but I actually think that it wouldn't surprise me if England went and won this World Cup. And I know that sounds really out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if England went and won this World Cup, because I just think this World Cup has the potential to be pretty crap. And not in the sense that the football will be crap, but just in the sense that I think it might be, I'm calling it the COVID World Cup. Now, the reason I'm calling it the COVID World Cup is because remember when we played football with no COVID, with COVID, and it was behind closed doors? Everyone sort of wants to forget that, but it's still in the history books. Man City, or who won the league in the COVID year? Was it Man City? It was still football, but it was a different type of football. And I think that this World Cup has got the potential of being a little bit different. Obviously, it's in November. We don't know how it's going to be. Obviously, there are teams who are missing key players. I just think, hopefully, it's going to be a really good footballing World Cup. But I think it might be a World Cup where we watch it, we enjoy it, but then when it's over, we go, can't wait for a real World Cup in 4 years' time in America and Canada and Mexico. So maybe in the context of it, if it does end up being one of those sort of weird World Cups that we look back in a few years and go, it wasn't really a World Cup, it was a bit weird. Maybe England will win it, because that'd be typically England, wouldn't it, to win the World Cup that's a little bit weird. So I think England, look, we've got some amazing players. Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Saka's fantastic as well. And then there are a few others that other people will like. But we have got really, really good players. And I wouldn't be, you look at that, if I'm absolutely honest, that squad should get to the semi-final. Don't ask me whether if we get to this quarterfinal, Southgate will get the sack, because he should do. But I think that really that squad should be getting to the final. I think that squad is capable of beating France. It's capable of beating Portugal. It's capable of beating a lot of teams. The problem is, can they do it despite Southgate? So I think England, ridiculously, I think England could win this tournament. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I think you'll like the Ecuadorian centre-back. Thank you very much for that. That's from Joshua Bowater. He plays for Leverkusen. I'm going to go through the teams in a minute. Hincapi, apparently. And hi Mark, love your match reactions. As a United fan, just wanted to know how you deal with people mocking us after the Ronaldo incident. I don't know what to do, says Mantej. Just get your head down and focus on the World Cup. We'll be absolutely fine. Right, I'm just going to go through these teams. I don't know anything about Qatar other than that's where the World Cup is. So Al-Sheeb in goal, Al-Rawi, Kuki, Haj Fadali, Carrera, Boudiaf, Abdullah, Ahmed, Haydos, Abdullah, and Afif. I've heard of Afif, but I think that's from FIFA. And then you've got Ecuador with Galandes, Preciado, Torres, Hincapi, Leverkusen, as we've just been told, Estepanan, Plata, Mendes, Casido, we know, Ibarra, Valencia, and Estrada. I mean, I recognise a lot of those names. I think quite a few of those Ecuador players do play in Europe. Let's have a quick look if we can find their World Cup squad, because I think quite a few of them do play in Europe. Let's have a look. So Ecuador's squad looks like this. So you've got Estepanan, who plays for Brighton, of course. Casido also plays for Brighton. Leverkusen, Hincapi, obviously just mentioned by Joshua Bowwater there. Genk, Preciado. There's a few playing in the MLS, and Casido obviously at Brighton. Fenerbahce, Valencia. Yeah, so they've got three players at Brighton: Sarmiento, Casido, and Estepanan, all of which are in the team. No, they're not. Preciado is not on the bench, but look, it is what it is, and hopefully we'll get a good game out of it. Hopefully we will. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. I must just mention that we are just looking at Qatar's latest results. They did beat Portugal. They did beat Bulgaria in a friendly in March. They drew with Slovenia. They drew with Morocco. They beat Ghana. They drew with Jamaica. So maybe they'll be quite good. I don't know. Afif is a baller, says Osman. I think is he the best player for Qatar? Lots of people tell me that. Golden Devils Talk says, can I ask you where you get your stats from for the match? Well, our stats are sponsored by OneFootball, so thank you very much to that. I don't disclose anything further than that because we're sponsored by OneFootball for our stats, so check out OneFootball. Link is in the video description. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we are doing every World Cup game, or the intention is to do every World Cup game as a watch-along on here. So if you are at a loose end at any point at work or school or whatever you're doing, and you want to tune in and get involved in the community, this fantastic community we have, then we are going to be doing every game as a watch-along. So get involved with that. And as I said, you can do that through the link by clicking the bottom right-hand corner. England, obviously, 1 o'clock tomorrow is the next World Cup game. There's 3 games tomorrow, in fact, which we'll go through those. But yeah, 3 games tomorrow in the World Cup. England are playing that first game against Iran tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And then you've got Netherlands playing Senegal at 4 o'clock. And then USA against Wales at 7 o'clock. Really looking forward to the England game. And obviously USA against Wales, looking forward to that as well. So yeah, should be good fun. Well, let's hope we get some good football. We want to get some goals. Qatar recently lost to Croatia under 23s, says Toro. I think it will be entertaining. I mean, hopefully it's a close game, but I mean, it would be entertaining if Qatar got absolutely run over by Ecuador, wouldn't it? 3 or 4-0, because we get a lot of goals. Or, you know, maybe the other way around. But I think Afif is the player that they really like. They're just doing a profile of him here. Akram Afif, 26 years of age, voted Asian Player of the Year in 2019, plays for Club Al Sadd. He did play 11 times for Sporting Gijon in 2017. So there you go. Portugal, Argentina, says PlayStation. Got Serbia in my sweepstake. Horrendous, says Alex G. I haven't done a sweepstake this year. I normally do one. I haven't done one this year, so let us know who you've got. The Chelsea. Cool. Okay, thanks, Matt. That's interesting. I don't know why it would do that, but there we go. Okay. let's be honest, if you've got anybody outside the traditional top 8, you've got no chance in a sweepstake. I mean, if you've got someone like Mexico or Ecuador or even the likes of bloody Belgium, I don't think you've got a chance. I really don't. I think the World Cup winner will come from Brazil, France, Germany, Argentina. I think it'll be one of those 4. I can't see anybody else. I wouldn't even throw. I mean, you can't, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if an England or a Belgium won it, but I really do think it will come from those. And I'm very intrigued as well, and I've been mentioning this for quite a while. I'm very intrigued to see how the weather's going to impact. I don't think it's going to impact either of these teams because they're used to hot climates, aren't they? I mean, Qatar is in Qatar and Ecuador is South America. So I don't think it's going to impact them. But Iran against England tomorrow, that'll be very interesting because Iran is a warmer climate than England. So will it impact? We know we've got this air conditioning in the stadiums, but I spoke to somebody and they said air conditioning is not going to make a massive amount of difference, really. Air conditioning is for the whole stadium. You're not going to be there in the centre circle going, oh, that's like being in bed on holiday when you put it on full blast. As a Korean fan, I know firsthand Qatar can be a handful. Do not underestimate them. They have won 2019 Asian Cup by beating Korea and Japan in the finals. Well, I don't think they're going to be as bad as some people think they might be. They'll do well to get out of their group. They're in the group with the Netherlands and Senegal. So this is probably the game if they're going to, and of course being the opening game of the World Cup, they're going to want to win this. But if they're going to get any results, then this is going to be the one that they're going to want to do. Thank you very much for the super chats. We've got 10,000 people watching already for the opener of the World Cup. Remember, doing every watch along on here. Make sure you do subscribe. It will be a big game tomorrow lunchtime. England against Iran. England need to get off with a win there because I think, with all due to respect to Iran, maybe they will get a result against the United States. Maybe they will get a result against Wales, but I don't think it gets any easier for England after Iran. So yeah, we need to see how that will pan out. The ceremony's already gone, Sharik. The game is starting in 13 minutes. And Mark, if Southgate wins the World Cup, would you take him over Ten Hag, says Amy Assey? I just think, you know what, I'm watching this really good series on Sky at the moment called 4 Weeks That Made Us or something. I've just finished episode 1 and it's all about Italia 90, which is my favourite World Cup because that was when I was, it's the first one I really remember as a kid. And obviously you're not really aware of the back of the Sun and newspapers when you're a little child, and the press couldn't stand Bobby Robson. They treated him like shit, and we went into that World Cup with really low expectations. And I was watching it last night and I was like, ooh, could be some serious, no one liked the style of football, no one really respected Robson, and they went and had a great World Cup with Paul Gascoigne. And I was thinking, you know what, we've got a player in Phil Foden that could be a Gascoigne, and no one really likes the style of football under Southgate. We've definitely got the players to do it. Could this be an Italia 90 moment for England? And then I thought, not if he's going to play a back 5. Ash Hart said there's been leaks that Ecuador have been paid to lose 1-0. Well, I tweeted it earlier. I mean, it's not really fair on Qatar, is it? Because if Qatar win, they've probably done it. Well, we'd have to assume they've done it legit. But if they don't do it, if Qatar do win, because of that rumour or story, everyone will think that they have paid for it. So it's not a great situation, isn't it? If they beat Ecuador, apart from they'll be very happy. How much did Super Chats collect, says Nelly? I've not counted it up totally yet, but I think it's around $3,000, because YouTube do it in that. So I just need to double check it tomorrow. Mark, which young player do you think we will show his quality in this World Cup? Is Casido in your book? Very good player. I mean, the thing we've got to be careful about is Casido is probably the player we know most of all. I'm looking forward to seeing, watching this World Cup, and, the worst World Cup ever for this, and a lot of you won't remember it and may not have even been born. 1994 World Cup was when the influx into the Premier League really happened. And that was the World Cup where people just bought people who were good in the World Cup. And there was loads of players came over, I think, from, Petrescu was at Sheffield Wednesday. There was another Romanian, was it Popescu, who went to, there was one beginning with D as well that went to Spurs. Was it Dimitrescu? I think maybe he went to Chelsea. Obviously Klinsmann. So, it's... you've got to be very careful in a World Cup, because people will go, oh, he's good, and West Ham Bridge says, do you like roadblocks? I don't like roadblocks. I mean, Seb plays roadblocks. So look, yeah, everybody's got to be very careful about who's good and who's not good. But there will be players where people start going, oh, I like him. He's really good. Lee says this whole tournament feels a bit off. Yeah, but you know what, Lee? That might make it a really good tournament. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is never in my who are Keys and Gray, Mark? Richard Keys and Andy Gray. They used to do Sky Sports years ago until they were disgraced and kicked out, and now they work in. I think they work in on beIN Sports, don't they? I'm focusing on the football. Like, never in a million years would you got me going to Qatar. Nothing against people who have gone. That's up to them. I would never have gone there for many, many reasons. But the World Cup is something that I have always enjoyed, and I find this tournament intriguing. It's an official World Cup. It's not a bloody summer tournament, the Umbro Cup or whatever. It's a proper World Cup. This is FIFA designated World Cup. And you think about Rio, the Brazil World Cup in 2014. You think about France 98. Italia 90, USA 94, or even more recent World Cups. This is a legitimate World Cup tournament. I completely agree that it doesn't feel like it, and I think a lot of that's to do with the gap. If this was being played in the summer, being played in the summer, it's not just the 3-week gap you have from the last Premier League game to the start of the World Cup. It's the fact that most teams are on an easy street in May, aren't they? They know they're safe. They know they won the title. So you have that build up to the World Cup from basically mid-May to mid-June. I think we've gone from it's literally a week ago that Man United beat Fulham. That's amazing, isn't it? A week ago, Man United beat Fulham, and we're now starting the World Cup. I think that's the problem. It's just so cram everything in, and then everyone's meant to go, oh, it's the World Cup, and it's difficult, and it might be a slow burner, and it might end up being a brilliant World Cup. That's what I say. I'm really intrigued by it. I'm just trying to focus on the football, because everything else around it is irritating, to say the least. I do not agree with this World Cup being at this time of the year, but it is, and we knew it was going to be at this, and we're powerless about it. So I'm hoping that the football is going to deliver, but I accept it's very, very weird. Minamino was singing at the ceremony, says nuts. And Mark, what's your opinion on fake fans travelling? Is there anyone really travelling to be living in like tents? Will Stadia feel weird? Says Kurt Stibb. I know quite a few fans who've gone over there. Yeah, I do know quite a few fans gone out there. You can tell it's irritating Infantino, or whatever his name is, the president, because they're just trying to put this smile on their face and talk about what a great World Cup it is. And you can tell by that irritation that people who say, well, it doesn't feel like a great World Cup, to be honest, on the build-up to it. There's a desperation for it to be good, but it will be dictated to by the football. If the football delivers, the football will deliver. What it will never have is it will never have Pavarotti of Italia 90, even USA 94, and other World Cups, like Brazil I thought was a fantastic World Cup. The atmosphere, it can't replicate that because it's not a footballing nation. That's not Qatar's fault. So it's difficult for FIFA because it's got all the background to it, and it's not a footballing nation. It's a new nation. So they're up against it, and I think they're trying their very best to make it great. But if the football delivers, who knows what we're going to get over the next 4 weeks. Mark, you said you'll come to my country, but not Qatar. What's the difference? My country and your country have done worse, says Ekrama. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I think you're getting political, which I haven't. You're not really listening, are you? Thank you very much for the super chats, by the way. And we're about 7 minutes away from the start of this game. There's an there's a really interesting story about Qatar. Just to mention this about it. The plans have been in place for Qatar for a long, long time in relation to becoming a football nation. Obviously, people like, I think Xavi's played there, Pep Guardiola played there, somebody else played there as well. I forget who it was. They've had a few players go to Qatar and play. Basically in their retirement years, but they've gone there to play. The infrastructure, the coaching, they've been putting a lot of money into this for a very, very long time. So, they're not like... It's interesting. it's interesting to see. Anthony Martial has been involved in a bust-up with a young team player and threatened to give Erik ten Hag another headache after the Cristiano Ronaldo saga. No, well, I don't think that's amazing news, to be honest with you. Frank Leboeuf went there. James Rodriguez went there, of course. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, they've been investing a lot of money in their sport in football for many years. Maybe with an eye on this tournament, but more with an eye on, being relevant in the football world. I don't know what the population of Qatar is. I remember playing. If anybody, you've got to be quite old to play this. I think it must have been in 1993. I remember playing a FIFA game in the early 90s, and it was the one where the referee chased you with the red card, but you could run away. You could run away for forever, until you stopped, he'd give you the red card, but you could just run around for ages. It was weird game. But Qatar were in that. I think they played in a black kit. I remember that. But yeah, it's. I don't know what to expect, because I thought that the South African World Cup, a lot of people loved the South African Cup. I think I didn't like the South African World Cup because I think that was a year where England were just so embarrassing. I just don't. Many World Cups for me are based on how England does, apart from recent years where I just try to enjoy the whole tournament. But 2010 South Africa, I just couldn't stand that World Cup because England were embarrassing. Capello, wasn't it? Yeah. But I felt bad for South Africa because they're not a bad footballing nation, but they just didn't do particularly well. I don't know whether they got out of the group, but they didn't do particularly well. And South Africa is a pretty well-known footballing nation, so I just don't know what to expect with Qatar. People are saying that their population is sort of 4 million. I mean, and they've got no real football history, have they? So for them to come and do anything in this tournament would be a remarkable evolution of obviously investment, but you can't build a national team in 4 years. They've been building it a lot longer than that. So it's going to be very interesting how good they are. And maybe they'll surprise a few people. Is there a team you would want to win the World Cup if England don't? I would like to see a non-European team win this World Cup. It's been 20 years since Brazil won it in Japan. That's the last time we've seen a South American team win it. Ideally, and I know they're not South American, I know they're classed as North American, but I'd love to see a Uruguay or a Mexico, and obviously a Uruguay South American and Mexico classed as North American. I'd love to see somebody like that win it. I'd love to see a shock, but I'd like to see a non-European team win it. It's a World Cup, isn't it? And you don't want to see domination from Europe. I think Europe dominates the game of football too much anyway. Will there be any drinks breaks during the match, says Ansherman? I've not heard that, but obviously it would make a lot of sense if they did do that. Gerard says he'd love to see Belgium winning it. Don't forget that our stats carousel will update during the game. So that's your stats bar. That will tell you the possession, shots on goal, all that sort of jazz. We've got the teams as well. You'll see the full teams there with all the names and the players. If anyone gets subbed off, you'll see an arrow underneath their number. And if anyone gets a goal or a yellow card or a red card, you'll see that on their shoulders. We've also got the live table, the group table, which will come around in a minute as well. So all that is updating, real time. And it's sponsored by OneFootball. You can see the QR code in the top left-hand corner. So big shout out to OneFootball. Fantastic football app where you can get all your latest news and stats and information. You can download that for free by scanning your phone with that QR code. Or you can go through the link in the description. It's free to do. So big shout out to OneFootball for that. We are getting closer and closer to this game. I just need to get the timer ready, and we're ready to go. Let's do that. Let's do that. There we go. Okay, it's not 22:34. I will start it. Just read the article by Mullock. Nothing story was just handbags between Martial and Dan Gore because he went in a bit too hard on Tony in training, says Joshua Bellwater. Well, I like Dan Gore, so, leave him alone, Tony. Super Hands doesn't like the fact people are supporting Qatar. Maybe they're doing it to wind you up, mate. Am I supporting anyone? Ecuador for me. Yeah, I'd prefer Ecuador to win. Just because I know more of their players and I do like Casido, so I think, if I look at the games tomorrow, who do I want to win? Obviously, England against Iran. Who do I want to win between Senegal and Netherlands? It will probably be the Netherlands because, I like Cody Gakpo. I like, obviously, Malacia, if he gets to play. USA, Wales, probably would like USA to win, if I'm being honest, just to wind the Welsh up. Not massively bothered about that. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Martinez. Mexico, Poland, probably want Mexico to win that. Denmark, Tunisia, probably Denmark because of Ericsson. France, Australia, I'd probably like Australia to win that, to be honest with you. Morocco, Croatia, I'd like Morocco to win for a bit of a shock. Costa Rica, Spain, yeah, Costa Rica. Germany, Japan, Belgium, Canada, probably Canada. You see, I want all the favourites to get knocked out, clearly. Although Brazil, Serbia, I probably want Brazil to win. Portugal, Ghana, probably wouldn't mind Ghana winning that, even though Bruno and Delo are Man United. I'd like to see, I think that group's got the potential to be really good. Uruguay, South Korea, Portugal and Ghana. What we don't want to see, I don't think we want to see anyway, is we don't want to see the final group games just being 2 teams on 6 and 2 teams on 0. You want to see some exciting games, hopefully. Just get rid of these idiots. There's a few idiots in the chat. Unfortunately, we're going to get a bit of that. This is, there's people being attracted to this who are not football people, who are talking about politics and stuff. So we'll bin them off with their hate and stuff. Not that politics are hate, but some of the stuff that's being said in the chat is very out of order. So we would just bin them off. But unfortunately, FIFA, this is what happens when you do a football tournament like this. It attracts people who are probably not into football. Switzerland or Cameroon? Cameroon. I love Cameroon. 1990, I can't help it. What a quarter-final that was, England and Cameroon. Roger Miller. Well, I say what a quarter-final it was. I was watching it last night, the highlights of Cameroon against Argentina, which was the opening game in Italia 90. Cameroon won 1-0 and played, I think it was the last 5 minutes with 9 men against Maradona's Argentina. Amazing. So we're just about to start the World Cup here. I mean, hard to tell what the stadium... the stadium looks good, but hard to tell it's full as well, opening game. I presume we will get that. I presume we will get stadiums that are full. But is there Premier League refs involved in this? Says Ronnie. I think so. Ronnie Pickering. Please subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I do need to update that because we're not on 805. So hot countries are never supposed to host World Cup. It's the World Cup, not Cold Cup. Arrangements have to be made for the purpose of inclusivity, says Muzzy. Mate, I'm not getting into that argument. I don't agree with the World Cup being played at this time of the year. I'm not getting involved in the climate. I just don't agree with the World Cup being held at this time of year. Simple. You do. Well done. Let us know who you think is going to win the World Cup, because Jacob's just asked me that. I keep changing between Brazil and France, but I'm actually going to go for Brazil now because I think the loss of Benzema you're losing one of the best players in the world. I think it's huge. I think it means that England can hit the semi-finals because we're meant to be playing France in the quarter-finals if everything goes as it's meant to go. But good start by Qatar here. Qatar, not guitar. Put a bit of respect on it, Goldbridge. It's not a guitar, it's a place. Yeah, I do think it's a big loss for France to lose one of the best players in the world. But it'll be an interesting game. There's been a foul here. I think it's a foul on Casino, actually. He's all right. He's just had a just clash of knees, I think. It looks rather innocuous to me, that does. Right, I've updated it. We're on 811,000 anyway. Thanks everyone for tuning in. So the World Cup's up and running. Should have been a yellow card, that. There is VAR, yes, there is VAR. I don't know how many fans of from different countries are travelling, and I don't suppose anybody would know the stats for that, because obviously it's not really the sort of thing that people put out there. But I mean, certainly if you've got a World Cup in Germany, God, the keeper's all over the place here. 1-0 to Ecuador. There we go. Valencia, and it's 1-0 after 3 minutes, and it's Ecuador who score. The keeper was all over the place. He was flapping like a big pigeon chasing a rat. No, pigeons wouldn't chase a rat. And exactly what was that keeper flapping around about? But yeah, you know, I mean, maybe that's the level we're watching here, because you don't imagine a goalkeeper to be, you know, dancing around like this. And Ecuador do take advantage of what is pretty poor goalkeeping. He came for the cross. He should have got this. It's up in the air. I don't know what. I don't know. He should have punched it. Then he should have caught it. He's all over the place. It's like me playing in goal in five-a-side. Yeah, I mean, that is just completely and utterly on the goalkeeper. He has 3 opportunities. 1, he should have punched it. 2nd, he should have caught it. 3rd, he should have got back into position. So 1-0, and anybody who said that this Qatar team's quite good, yeah, well, their keeper isn't. Legit goal by Ecuador. I don't know where they got the keeper from. Aldi, by the looks of it. But yeah, Karius. Yeah, I don't know. That's very disappointing. It's a very disappointing start to the World Cup, isn't it? Yeah. And people are saying Cowell the Dragon goalkeeper. That's very disrespectful. I think Cowell the Dragon is probably a better goalkeeper. If they are checking this on VAR and they overrule it, we're in a dodgy World Cup. There is nothing about that goal that should be overruled. I mean, the fact that they're checking this by VAR is ridiculous. I see nothing in that goal. Nothing. Oh my God. They've overruled the goal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Tournament in the mud. I mean, what are they checking? No way is that ever a VAR review. Never in a million years. That is disgraceful. And they've ruled it out. Oh my God, that is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Get your wallet out. It's the Wallet World Cup. What a disgrace. I cannot believe it. If you're not watching, Ecuador knock a ball into the box. The keeper goes to punch it. He's 2 seconds too late. The Ecuadorian player wins it and he barges into him, and that's a foul. It's the worst decision I can't believe it. Well, I can believe it. That is a disgrace. Or are they giving an offside now? I don't know. I don't know. Well, surely they would have shown us the lines if it was offside. I think they've given it for a foul. It's offside, apparently. Well, why don't they show us the offside then? I just I don't see how there can be an offside either. I think they've given it. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, jeez, I'm stunned by that. I mean, I'm just having a quick look on Twitter to see if there's any clarity on it. I just don't know. Some people are saying it was offside. Well, we'd have to see that back. I mean, I can't imagine they've got an offside wrong. I thought it was because of the keeper going up, and I mean, it can't be for the keeper going up. I think that's what many of us thought. It can't be for the keeper going up because the keeper's late. He's late to the party there. It must be for an offside, but whew, Offside, apparently, says Alex. Mark, to be fair, it did kind of look offside. Well, if it was offside, Cobra, then that's fine. But that's terrible on the TV because we have not seen... I mean, we're in for a dodgy World Cup if they're going to just give decisions without showing us on the telly. So, at the very least, that is poor broadcasting. They're claiming it was offside. I don't know if they're showing us a different angle in the States, but it didn't look offside at all, says Red. That was some hand of God type corruption, says Ryan. Well, apparently it's offside. They don't even care about hiding it anymore. Blatant corruption. We've not even seen a replay, Jack. I mean, if it's offside, then you'd think they'd show us it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Unless I was too busy looking at the screen, I didn't see an offside replay. They showed a replay and the commentary said he can't see one anyway. Corruption, says Levi. It's not a good start to a tournament when the host nation is getting a goal knocked off for something that people don't really know what it's all about. Yeah. I mean, I will reserve judgment until I've seen the replay, but this keeper's crap. Put the ball up in the air. He's scared of heights. Put him on a bloody step ladder and he'll shit himself. He's rubbish in the air, this keeper, isn't he? Really bad. I'd be bombarding him with high balls. I ain't getting on no plane. You don't like heights. Well, at least we've got a bit of controversy, maybe. At least we've got a bit of something to talk about. But Ecuador have started off quite well here. It was offside. Remember Harry Kane versus Chelsea, says Hyper. Well, we'll probably get to see it at half-time. But for me, Ecuador should have scored. And it's quite telling that if this was a Premier League game, we would have seen that replay again and again and again and again. And I haven't even seen it yet. I think they have shown it on the BBC, but I probably was too busy talking to you lot. But I haven't seen it again. A few people in the chat are watching it again and again. Let us know in the chat. You can replay, you can rewind. I can't, but yeah, let us know what you think in the chat. I'll have to re-watch it myself, but another cross into the box. Well, Qatar have got to get a result today because they won't get one against the Netherlands. From what I've seen after 10 minutes, the Netherlands will beat them. And I think Senegal, even without Mane, are still a decent enough side to beat them. Based on that call, I think Qatar is going to win the World Cup, says Brian. Mark, the striker was behind the keeper. I would think it's like the Benzema goal against Liverpool, something like that, says Marketing James. I was watching the goal and I was like, the only thing I could see that was potentially contentious was the way the goalkeeper went up for the header to punch it. I didn't. Normally we watch so much football, we know when there's an offside. But let's be fair. At half time, it might get proven. Alexander says you'll never get a job with Qatar State broadcaster. No. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, but then again, have you ever listened to an England game on ITV or BBC? That's not known for being fair either. I think if you're a national broadcaster, you've got a right to be a bit biased. It's all Ecuador at the moment, though. They're being a bit bullied. Corner then. Put it right in on the goalkeeper. I recognise this ref, definitely. Right, okay. No goal. Ecuador's opener ruled offside. Oh, you know what? I'm just looking at it there. It's a hard one. I think they need to roll it back a bit anyway. I think he heads that way before then. I'm just looking at the image here. Yeah, probably is offside. They're just showing it there. His leg's offside. Oh no. It's not even the offside people think it is. It's offside from the free kick. People are saying it's offside after their flick on. I think they've just shown it on the telly there. It's offside from the free kick. Oh, I'll have to see that at half time. Yeah. I don't know. Wonderful technology. And they're through here, Ecuador. He's got to give a penalty now. Oh, he's given a penalty. Penalty now. Give him a red then. You've got to give him a red. Oh, why? Why? Genuine attempt to get the ball. Genuine attempt to get the ball. Penalty Ecuador. Penalty Ecuador. Qatar ain't very good. Genuine attempt to get the ball. Yeah, well, no, the ball's gone past him. Is that not a red? Ball's gone past him. There's no attempt to get the ball there. Ball's gone. Well, maybe fair. I think that should be a red, though. Do you know that the Qatar domestic leagues was also suspended since September, purely so the national team could focus on preparing for this game, says B. Yakov. Thank you very much. Be interested to see if these teams have worse players, better footballer than we do, England, and if they do, Gareth needs some more games, says Nathan Allen. It won't be a red because apparently there was a genuine attempt to get the ball there. You have to remember, Mark, there is the new offside tech, work just like the goal line tech, says Escape Artist. Well, it might not matter here. Got to score yet. This goalkeeper's had a bad start. He was at fault for the goal that was ruled out offside. He's been at fault for the penalty. Poor goalie. I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for him now. Valencia, he scored once and it got ruled out for offside. I wouldn't bet any money that this keeper will save this. No, he just passed it into the bottom corner. Goal Ecuador. Valencia is a baller. Plays for Fenerbahce, doesn't he? Captain of Ecuador. 1-0 and they've taken the lead. And it counts this time. Apparently the penalty's going to VAR as well. I'm joking. Apparently they're appealing for offside from the penalty. He scored, but it's going to go to VAR. He's clearly offside, they're saying. Yeah, it's 1-0 to Ecuador, which is probably it's not probably, it's what's deserved, isn't it? So we've got 1-0 here. I don't know. Sign the goalie up. I don't know what people were talking about this morning when I said if Ecuador don't win this, there's something a bit dodgy, because I was told by a few people, you're being very disrespectful of Qatar. They're actually a very, very good team. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything in this first 15 minutes that makes me think they are. Although they're on the attack now, not for long. Where can you watch the game? Probably loads of places. It's the one good thing about the World Cup is like Wimbledon. It's on terrestrial TV. It has to be for free in the UK. So I hope it's like that in the world. Mark, stop being political. I've not said anything political. I'm talking about football, mate. Thanks everyone who's tuning in anyway. We've got 22,000 people watching. Remember, we're going to be doing every World Cup watch along. So make sure you tune in. All the games, 4 games a day from Tuesday. 3 games tomorrow. We will have some of the watch-alongs in the studio for you as well. So lots to get involved with. Love from the United Arab Emirates, says Yash. I mean, I think one of the great things about this World Cup is the fact that, and it has got lost a little bit, is the fact that it's a World Cup in a different area of the world. That's, I don't think there's ever been a... What's the closest World Cup to Qatar? I'm trying to think. And Saudi Arabia have played in loads of World Cups. United Arab Emirates is over there. Iran, Iraq. It's all that sort of area of the world, isn't it? I mean, Japan's not very close to Qatar, is it? No way. I'd say Russia's probably closer. But there's never... I mean, I'm not brilliant on geography, but there's never been a World Cup sort of close to the Middle East or, East Asia, Northern Africa, around that area. Obviously, we had South Africa, but so it's nice to have a World Cup in a different area. I just don't agree with it being in November, but apparently you have to do that because of the heat. Ecuador, penalty again, surely. No, he's given another offside. If in doubt, give an offside. Surely the goalkeeper chops the Ecuador player here. Well, he's offside. He's offside on the build-up anyway. But I would have given a penalty here. They won't give a penalty for that. That actually was a penalty. That actually was offside there. But well, I'm quite enjoying this. I really wasn't massively looking forward to Qatar, Ecuador, because it's not, let's be honest, it's not Argentina, Cameroon, is it, in 1990? It's not Scotland, Brazil in 98. I'm trying to think of all the opening World Cup games. What was the opening World Cup game in 94? USA, Germany, was it? Must have been USA, Germany, because, oh no, I don't know. Yeah, France 98, the opening game was not France. It was Scotland, Brazil, wasn't it? I don't know why it was Scotland, Brazil, but it wasn't France. They're in again, Ecuador. I just think if we're enjoying Qatar against Ecuador as the opening game, imagine what it's going to be like when we get some of the big hitters in. Like England tomorrow. France-Senegal in 2002. What was the opener? Here's a quiz question for you then. What was the opener in Brazil in 2014? Russia. Russia did open it, didn't they? Who did Russia play? Oh, was it Russia against? Oh, don't tell me. Didn't Russia play someone like Poland or something like that? No, there's a yellow card here. Qatar are losing their heads. Oh, it's Russia, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that was a tough watch as well. Brazil, Croatia in 2014. Another yellow card here. Ecuador are just cruising here at the moment. Yeah, Liam said, that's right, Russia won 5-0 and Russia looked really good and then they were crap after that, weren't they? Mexico, South Africa, I think Mexico won that, didn't they? Well, it's another chance for Ecuador to whip a cross in here. I'm looking forward to seeing that offside at half-time, even though it doesn't really matter because they're losing 1-0 anyway, but... Ecuador. How did Ecuador do? It's a lovely cross. How did Ecuador do in their qualifications? Because to me, they look all right. It was 1-1 between South Africa and Mexico. I'm looking forward to seeing Mexico this tournament. I always quite like Mexico, and but I've been told they're not that good this year. But I think Mexico always are a team in the World Cup that turn up and play quite good. They're always a team you like to watch. Ecuador did very well, and they finished 4th. There you go. Thank you very much. I've noticed what's just happened. Don't worry, I'll load it up again. There it is. Apparently, Ecuador haven't conceded a goal in 10 hours, Mark, says Hungary. Thank you very much. I love these sort of stats. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We will be doing every game of the World Cup as a watch-along. So, as I say, during the week, if you're a little bit bored at work or you're watching a game and you're feeling a bit lonely, get involved with the live chat on That's Football. You're very welcome. We'll be covering it all. Community, That's Football community, together. We'll get through it together. Sick Thursday says that they finished 4th behind Uruguay. I actually think that Uruguay are... Me and Beth said it, didn't we, on the World Cup preview? I actually think Uruguay are a bit of a dark horse. I do. Ben Tanker's been brilliant for Spurs. And they've still got the likes of Cavani and Darwin Nunez. Why didn't United sign Caicedo? We didn't want to take the risk, Thomas, to be honest. Yeah, watch out for Uruguay. Literally, they're playing on Thursday against South Korea. I think that'd be a good game at 1 o'clock. And then you've got Portugal, Ghana at 4 o'clock. Brazil, Serbia on at 7 o'clock. And then it all starts again. Friday, Qatar against Senegal at 1 o'clock. It's mad, isn't it? We'll have seen everybody play. But it's mad to think that by Thursday night we'll have seen everybody play. Is it a quicker World Cup as well? Like, are they getting? You don't normally get everybody played in 4 days, do you? Or do you? I thought there was like 6 days of group games and then it goes round again. Seems quite quick for England to play Monday and then be playing Friday. Mark, will it be called soccer if US beat England? Never, Kev, never. If England finish first and Ecuador finish second in their group, that's who we play in the next round, says Ross. Yeah, I think a lot of people are predicting we'll play Senegal because they're in this group, aren't they? But Will says, I've got a feeling I'm going to be seeing Mark more than I'm going to see my missus over the next month. And Simon says, Mark, this keeper is definitely disappearing after this game. Well, don't say things like that, Simon. It makes me feel icky. We don't want anything like that. Remember that happened in '94 with that Colombian defender? What was his name? Was it Escobar? Got shot, didn't he? Conceded a no goal and then got shot in a car park in Colombia. Horrible. Looking forward to seeing which unknown player pops up at this tournament, gets all the big clubs eyeing them. Well, Fabrizio thinks it's going to be Jonathan David of Canada, Luke, so let's see. On behalf of Mexico supporters ever, I'll be amazed if we make it out of the group. Coach makes Southgate look like Zidane. Oh no, Red Harlow. That's such a shame because you're always a team that is actually quite expansive. So what I've heard is true then, isn't it? Why does nobody rate Serbia as a dark horse? Vlahovic, Milinkovic, Savic, Mitrovic, Tadic, Jovic, and Kostic. Wreck it, Ralph. I wouldn't worry about it. You know, that's the whole point of being a dark horse, isn't it? You just come up on the rails. Ecuador drew with Argentina in the last Copa America game, says Reese. Well, it's safe to say, I don't want to jinx it, but it's safe to say well, they're way better, aren't they? And I just tweeted it there. It's safe to say they would have needed Payton to lose this game. They've been so much better. I just wanted to go to the... where do I want to go to? I want to go here. And I just wanted to... pause. Yeah, I just wanted to pause on the stats for a minute. I mean, look at that. 63% possession for Ecuador. No shots on target at all for Qatar. I think they're cruising in the first half here. What's that celebration? It's like they're trying to shoot a basketball game. Oh, it's a dance. They're having a good time, aren't they? You can't knock back. They're having a good time. Yeah, amazingly, I thought our stats were wrong there. Amazingly, there's only been one shot in the whole game. Even the BBC are saying it. There's been one shot in the whole game and one corner. And we've had half an hour. Oh, this is not good. It's got Italia 90 vibes. Alvaro, thanks for the super chat. Ref's a bit card happy. Yeah, well, you should be able to see that on the screen. Yeah, yellow card. Oh no, Qatar have only got one yellow card. Spin the wheel says Ecuador are holding back. Well, after this half an hour, if Qatar find a way back into this game, they should be winning. Ecuador have went 6 games without conceding, says Harry. Hello from Korea, Mark. Do you think Son will be okay to play with the mask? I hope so, Taco. I do hope so. You know, we've lost too many Benzema's and Mane. Who else is out of the World Cup? There's a few, isn't there? I know Royce missed the World Cup, but he misses every bloody tournament for Germany. And Nkunku. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Pogba, Timo Werner. Reece James, Chilwell. Kante. Yeah, there's a few. I don't know whether there's any more than normal, but I do also think that this time of the year doesn't help. But here's Ecuador coming forward. He's going to shoot from some stupid distance here. They look a bit... Ecuador, to me, look like they're treating it a bit like a... Good cross comes in. Goal, 2-0. I was just about to say, they look like they're treating the game like a bit of an exhibition. Well, they've had 2 shots and it's 2 goals. And it's Ecuador here. And it's Valencia again. He could be in a chance with a golden boot in this game. I tell you what, if I was Memphis Depay, or... Well, Mane can't play, can he? But there's a lot of goals to be had against this Qatar side. There is. It's a great header by Valencia. They've got to put crosses into the box, Ecuador. They've got to put crosses into the box because it's not just their keeper who's rubbish. They've got concrete in their feet. No one wants to jump. They've taught them everything. Passing, shooting, but they haven't taught them how to jump. This could be offside. This could be offside. Watch out. This could be offside. It could get reviewed. It's a lovely header. I hope it isn't offside because it's a beautiful header. I mean, actually, it's unorthodox. He sort of goes with the wrong part of his head, but he doesn't know he's done that. It's hit him right on the back of the head. It did look tight. No, it's been given. 2-0. That one looked tight to me. That one did actually look like it could have been offside, but it's not. So Valencia's on a hat-trick. No, Mark, imagine being at work during the World Cup like must be actual pain. What are your thoughts? Imagine, Mark, or being at school, says Nathan. Well, my daughter's not getting to watch it. She's told me she'd be in science for England tomorrow. I think it's a joke. The education system's gone stupid. You know, you should be able to watch. So, he's got 2 goals, Valencia. You should see as it goes round in a minute. Someone's blaming the keeper for that. Yeah, you're not saving that. You're not saving that. Courtois ain't saving that. That's a good goal. Give the keeper some time off there. That's not his fault. We don't want him to get muddied. He's not at fault there. But Ecuador is sad. The goalkeeper is called Sad. Is that how you pronounce it, or is it Said? No, it's normally an I if it's Said, isn't it? Valencia, 6-month loan at Man United, says English talent. Get him at United, says Tom Davies. He was a bit unlucky. He was a bit unlucky. Apparently you pronounce it Sad. Thank you very much. Education. He was a bit lucky with that header. Raul Jimenez back for Mexico. We'll see how he goes, says Jonathan. I heard that Wolves didn't want him to play, did they? But he is playing. Well, it's another chance. And Qatar have been dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. All these people, Gakpo's going to be feasting against this. All these people saying that they're not that bad. I mean, maybe they are better than this. Maybe they're just nervous. But, oh, God. I played the game. I actually think I've played the game. Qatar would get beat by the dog and duck. They're rubbish. They're absolutely rubbish. I've played the game. I'd rather an under-8s Cardiff keeper than this Qatar one, says Ruben. Well, apologies to anyone who's supporting Qatar. I'm sure there are some people, and I genuinely mean it. I've taken annual leave for all the England games, says Alex G. Never mind Qatar, better luck in the next World, says DJ. Yeah. Do you think they will qualify for another World Cup? Oscar says this could be the worst World Cup host ever. There's got to be a precedent, surely. They can't keep hold of the ball badly, yeah. Who's the worst World Cup host ever? I mean, Russia were better than this, obviously. South Africa were better than this. They drew their first game. Another yellow card. They're racking them up. As you can see on the shoulder of Valencia, he's got the number 2 there because he's got 2 goals. Hard to see the yellow cards, but there is a yellow card. Russia got to the quarterfinals. Yeah, we're just discussing who do we think is the worst World Cup host ever. Which is not what Qatar wants us to be discussing after 36 minutes, to be fair. But we are. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Remember, we're doing every single game as a watch-along on this channel. So if you're at a loose end or you just want to be part of the community... A lot of you sat with me for 13 hours yesterday when we were doing a charity stream, so I'm sure a lot of you will be trying to see if you can watch every watch along with us. I'm sure a lot of you know each other in the chat and get to know the names, so get involved, subscribe, bottom right hand corner. You're very welcome. You know, it's flown by. Hi Mark, hoping your family is well and healthy. Congratulations on United Stand Studio. I wish you best of luck for future personally and professionally. Nabil, what a lovely comment. What a lovely comment that is. Thank you very much, pal. And I wish you and yours all the best as well. How the hell did Qatar qualify for the World Cup? Says Joel. Well, this is the story, Joel. This is how they qualified. They won enough votes to host the World Cup, and therefore you automatically qualify for the World Cup, which is why some people are not happy about it, because I think FIFA have admitted that there was things that shouldn't happen again around the allocation of this World Cup. So yeah, you qualify it. You qualify by hosting it. Either the hype around Qatar being half decent was absolute twaddle, or Ecuador are forced to be reckoned with, says Ali. Well, if they finished fourth in the South American qualifications, they're a force to be reckoned with. I'll tell you what I think's a bit of a shame, though. And I don't know why this didn't happen, but why didn't Saudi Arabia host the World Cup? Because they've actually qualified for World Cups legitimately, haven't they? Good tackle there. Good tackle by the Qatar fullback. Wins a free kick as well. Ishmael says, I can't see Qatar even scoring. Oh, you know what? That's got to be a worry, hasn't it? Since the first opening game, never a host lost, says Moritz. Really? I haven't watched the FIFA Uncovered documentary Road to Dawn. I'm sort of like not wanting to. Well, Saudi Arabia have qualified for quite a few World Cups. Obviously, the last one, 2018. What World Cups have Saudi Arabia qualified for? They were definitely. I'm pretty sure they were in. They scored a brilliant goal in '94. Yeah, they've definitely been in a few. That's what I mean. If Saudi Arabia hosted the World Cup, I don't think people could moan about that, because they have been to the World Cup a few times. And they've got the money to do it. Qatar looked outclassed, but not as bad as Saudi Arabia in 2002. Lost 8-0 to Germany with a closer hat-trick, says Michael. Apparently, France lost in 2002 versus Senegal. Yeah, but the World Cup, they weren't. They weren't hosting, because that was in Japan, wasn't it? Like Argentina lost in the first game of 1990, but they weren't the host. It's changed now, isn't it? Oh, hold on, they're in. Qatar are in. No, they're not. He's been tackled. Qatar are good at one thing, getting yellow cards, says Joel. You said yellow cards, but I know what you mean. You know what the most embarrassing thing is? That they actually haven't had a shot on target yet. Apparently Saudi Arabia are in this World Cup. I didn't even know. They are. They're in Poland's group. That's why I've got Messi down as top scorer. I think Saudi Arabia will shift a few goals in the wrong end. Australia are going to win the World Cup, apparently, says Isaac. You got to have a dream. Is it the winners of this who play Ivory Coast, says Kyle. I don't know what he's on about. There might be a joke in there. I think he's on about, is it a World Cup qualifier? Oh, Valencia's hurt himself here. No, not your knee. Oh, he's overextended his knee. I think that's going to hurt. No, he doesn't look that bad. He doesn't look that bothered by it. Or he does. Oh, imagine that. You score the first 2 goals in the World Cup and then you do your knee. Oh, there's a load of Qatar fans jumping up and down. They seem to have a bit like, it's like their version of the hardcore fans. They're dancing and having a great time. If I had to make a comparison to our leagues, this would be Salford versus Watford, says Nick P. Must be the losers who play Ivory Coast, Mark, says Kyle. I don't know what this Ivory Coast chat's all about. Valencia, they've got the bed out. Not the bed, the stretcher. The bed's out. Sponsored by Dreams. No, the stretcher is out. Tell you what I'm looking forward to at half-time. I'm looking forward to that first goal that got overruled to see if it was half-time. This Qatar team have been training together since September. It's crazy how bad they are, says Rodeo. Yeah, but, like you say, Gary Neville could get Salford to train for 2 months. They still wouldn't beat Arsenal, would they? There's a skill gap here. It's like I've always said about Pep Guardiola. Why do you think he goes and spends £100 million on people? Because he's the best coach in the world, but he can't polish a turd. You can coach for as many weeks as you like, but if you're not good, if Pep Guardiola is the best coach in the world, and you could coach anybody, you'd say, well, don't worry about spending your money. Give it to charity. I'll turn this crap into the best players in the world. You can't. You've got to have the good players. And so I do sympathise with Qatar there. I think you could give them 2 years off and they'd still be crap. Like, they don't actually have the quality quite clearly. Congratulations on the Super Studio, says Chris. A great celebration of your success as a content creator. Keep smashing it. Thanks, Chris. We'll have our first watch-alongs tomorrow in the studio. I think it's the Netherlands-Senegal game is our first one. I'm rooting for my home team, USA, but I feel like Belgium have a very likely chance, as Logan. I can't wait to watch Canada and USA. So many people are, in this chat who are from there and on the United Stand have said, watch out for Canada, watch out for the USA. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you feel sad for Italy not being in the World Cup? Normally I would do, Bo, but that's the first time I've thought about it, so I can't pretend that I do. I mean, I think it is sad that Italy aren't in the World Cup, especially because they won the Euros and they were very good in the Euros. But, they didn't qualify. That's the whole point of qualification, isn't it? England didn't qualify in '94. I was very, very sad they weren't there, but they didn't deserve to be. So Italy have just got to take their medicine, haven't they? But we don't know what sort of World Cup it's going to be. It might be crap, Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, get involved. England tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I've ironed my top and my shorts and my socks. I'm looking forward to seeing this half-time. Well, we've had a couple of goals. I'd love to have seen Ireland there. And Scotland. I played the game. I played in the World Cup. 86. Sir Alex. Sunis. Thank you for all your hard work you do on here at United Stand. I watched 10 hours yesterday. Thank you very much, Darren. Hope you're doing well. Would this Qatar side survive in League One, says Rodeo? This Qatar side would get demolished by Arsenal's under-18s. Well, there's a good point. We're about to run it back like it's 1776, says Juan. And Mark, didn't Valencia used to play for West Ham? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. There's a question for you then. Where would this Qatar side fit into the English pyramid of football? Personally, I think Notts County in the National League would give them a game. Apparently offside as goalkeeper ahead of last defender, so he then counts as the last player. Another crap rule. Keep the good work up, Mark. Sheldon, if that's true, it's true. Love from LA. Hope to see Mexico past the round of 16. JC, yeah, thanks everyone. We will be doing all the watch-alongs, so, let's have a bit of a good community going for the next month or so. We may as well sit and watch it together because there's nothing else on, and hope that we get some good stuff going on. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved with the channel. It's free to do it. Thanks everyone who's done their super chats as well. It's nice that England are playing the second game tomorrow as well. You know, get it going early. I'm going to do a poll. People have asked, can you do a poll? What level are Qatar? I'm not putting them in the Championship because they're definitely not that. League 1, League 2, National League. There you go. My Solihull Moor side would rip them apart, you're right. We'd terrorise them. Everton would draw against this Qatar team, says Juan. And Mark, will you come visit USA for the 2026 World Cup? God willing, Carlo, God willing. I wish England could win this World Cup, but as long as Southgate is here, we aren't winning. We lost Euros and last World Cup because of him, says Nabil. And we'll await this half-time thing in a minute. YouTube All-Stars versus Qatar, we would win, says George. I think we probably would. World Cup should be like the Nations League, and every 4 years, the top 8 or 16 should start in the quarterfinals, round of 16, says Franco. Apparently the World Cup in the USA is going up to 42 teams, isn't it? So Qatar probably will qualify. Mark, this VAR agenda needs to go. The referee made the right call as per the written rules, says Regine. It seems people want the refs to make decisions based on what makes them happy or what they feel. Regine, I respect your chat. I have said many times I couldn't understand why that goal was disallowed because I thought it was for the collision with the goalkeeper. Apparently it's for offside. I haven't seen it, and I've said I look forward to seeing it at half-time. And if it is offside, I will call it out as offside. National League is definitely their tier, or a yo-yo club between League 2 and National League, says Keith. Thank you very much. 48 teams in the next World Cup. That is a joke. That is a joke. It is 48 teams in a World Cup is a joke. Like, we've got 32, and we've got, you know, a few teams that you go, What I would say, I think the qualification from the African nation is very, very difficult, and there's a lot of good teams from Africa that don't make it. You know, we can all think of a few: Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria. There's a good chance for Qatar there. Cross came in. If he's onside, he should have scored. God, imagine how many games there'll be in 2026. Bloody hell. Less is more, in my opinion. Qatar should have scored there. He was onside. Best chance of the game. Manager can't believe it. And it is half-time. Let's stop the clock and let's see that offside. They're staying out on the pitch. No, they're not. They're coming in. We're going in. We're going in. Well, you never know. 2-0 can be a dangerous score in football. It really can. It could be, you know, get one back and then, you know, you never know. You've got a chance. So maybe they can. Qatar's coach looks like Danny Murphy. Murphy's does. Oh, yeah. Well, let's just pin the stats here. Remember, you can download the OneFootball app through the link in the description. They are very, very kindly sponsoring our match stats carousel. You can see in the top left-hand corner, that's the QR code. You can do it through that, or you can go through the link in the description. Big shout out to OneFootball for sponsoring our stats bar. As you can see, it's not terrible for Qatar so far. 46% to 54%, 3 shots to 2. If you were looking at those stats, you'd say it's not terrible, but I feel that Qatar are not very good, and Ecuador are probably in gear 2 of 5. I think they're cruising, and I'd be stunned. I think the only way that Ecuador could win this game, lose this game, is if they lose it through incompetence, complacency. It's been ridiculously easy so far for Ecuador, and yet I think they could do a lot more. 3 shots to 2, 2 shots on target to 0. I think they could actually do a lot better. If I was the manager of Ecuador, I'd be saying, what are you doing? You could do a lot better than that. I mean, our poll says, what level of Qatar, League 1, League 2 or National League? 45% of you are saying that they're National League, 34% are League 2. And I think on what we've seen, and I don't think there's going to be many people in the world that have spent time watching Qatar, most of us are watching them for the first 45 minutes in our life, and they are not a very high standard of football. I actually think Ecuador might be going easy on them, because ultimately we're all human beings, and do they really want to be... Right, here's the disallowed goal. Let me just see. Cross comes in, wins the header. Well, show us the offside. Okay, here we go. Cross comes in, wins the header. Well, how's that? I don't understand how that leg's offside from the kick. I don't understand that. I don't understand this offside. I've got no idea. No, I understand the rules, but they're not showing the player I thought it was. Like, is he offside from the actual free kick, or is he off from the ricochet? Who's the dark horse and likely winner this year? Says 8998. I've gone to Uruguay as the dark horse, and I think Brazil will win it. Oh, the guy impedes the keeper from getting to the ball and is an offside. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a stupid decision, but it doesn't really matter. It's 2-0. But yeah, as I said, if I was the manager of Ecuador, I would be saying, you know what, I'm not happy. And they'll go, what do you mean, Gaffer? We're winning 2-0. I'd say I'm not happy because we should be doing a lot more. You know, we should be winning 4 or 5-0. But what I would say is, this is the first game in the World Cup. You are playing the host. You know you're probably going to win. Do you really want to go and humiliate them? It's like, I mean, Man City have done it a few times to United recently. You know, they're stuffing us and they don't go and win 10-0. They sort of, you know, they drop the gas off. So, Qatar won the Asian Cup in 2019. They were pretty good, says Joey. Well, the opposition must have been shite. Having watched this Qatar team for a while, I've always thought they were a decent team. I think it's an issue of fear of the occasion, says Louis. Okay. I wish England could win this World Cup, but as long as Southgate is here, we aren't winning. We lost. I've done that one from Nabil. JC says, I love from LA. Hope to see Mexico past the round of 16. I think I've read that one as well. Thank you very much for the super chats that are coming in. Harry Kane and the lads are playing tomorrow, says Alan Wallace, and I'm very excited. Yeah, we will be live at 12:30 tomorrow, of course. We're kicking off at 1 o'clock with this. Cyber says the noise in the stadium is a bit flat. I don't have the audio on, so I don't know. I think there's quite a few people have said that they will not be able to replicate the sort of atmosphere you get because it's not, you know, it's not. They're not used to having these sort of games and crowds in Qatar, but I don't know. Alan Shearer says it wasn't offside. I can't see how it was, but you know what? It doesn't really matter because the right team is winning, and I think they could be winning a lot more. As I say, I think Ecuador are stuck in second gear here. Donny on the other side of the goal is closer as well as keeper. Terrible call, and they're in shock. Qatar, says Scott. Can't wait for tomorrow, Mark. I'm a teacher and our school is letting everyone watch the World Cup instead of lessons. The power of football. Yeah, they're not at my daughter's school, which is a disgrace. This Qatar side are so bad, even #United could beat them, says Joel Morris. And Mark, I think Iran can pull an upset tomorrow. Iran have an underrated team. Technically, this is a home game for Iran. Do you think England can beat them? Ray, I expect England to win tomorrow. And I feel that people are, and I might get this wrong, I think that people are trying to pretend that Iran-England is like Qatar-Ecuador, and it might be quite close. I feel that Iran will probably end up being like Qatar, and England will end up being like Ecuador and cruise through it quite comfortably. But England need to win tomorrow. A lot of people have said to me Iran are quite good. Who would win between Iran and Qatar? But I think that England have got to win that game. They've got to have a bit of a buffer against Wales and United States and a bit of confidence, because I think England will win the group. But if they don't beat Iran, it will put a lot of pressure on them. So A lot of people are saying Iran would 100% beat Qatar. Iran isn't easy. Iran, Wales and USA are average at best, says Ronan. England should walk that group. That's not English arrogance. I mean, look at the players we've got. Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. Qatar drew 0-0 at home against India in the Asian Cup qualifiers, says Nikhil. Iran all day long, they can actually play football, says Alanda. Well, I hope they can play football. I mean, I actually want England to get tested, because what I don't want to see with England is England grind their way out with crap football to the semi-final, and then Southgate gets a new deal. I still stand by what I said in the Euros. When we played Germany in their knockout game, would it have been better to lose that game and Southgate get the sack and have a new manager now? Some would say, well, no, we got to the final of the Euros. I'd still argue that we'd be in a better position if we'd lost that Germany game, which was tight. But we didn't, and here he is. And I think the most important thing is, if England are going to play well, they need to play well. If we're going to grind it out just to, get to the final or semi-final and lose under Southgate, we need a new manager. But the interesting thing is, you talk about replacing Southgate. I don't know who would replace him at the moment. Because if they stick with an English manager, you're not going to get Potter and you're not going to get Eddie Howe. And I don't want bloody Gerrard or Lampard. So we would have to go with a foreign coach. And I don't think they want to do that. So rumours that the VAR officials have had a strange man in Qatari official outfit with... Oh, whatever, Stephen. Come on. The shots on target and corner bars should be yellow and not red. We know. Thanks, Tom. Qatar played in the last Gold Cup and struggled against Costa Rica, Jamaica and Trinidad. Pretty clear, weren't great from that, says Godfather Box Set. Thank you very much for your super chats. If Qatar is a national team, Iran is a relegation form championship team that in its day can screw over a Premier League team in the Carabao Cup. There we go. Very good explanation there from the Inquisition. Interesting one as well. He says that Iran is a relegation form championship team, whereas Qatar would be a national league team. There we go. Thank you very much. I think England will get to the quarterfinals 6th Thursday, yeah. We'll do a little poll on that, actually. Where do you think England will get? Always like a poll. Where will England get to? Group. Round of 16. I don't see us getting to the final. I mean, I really don't see us getting to the final. So I'm going to put quarters and semis. Is there a show on the United Stand tonight? Yeah, we're still going to do our morning shows at 10 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll have that back. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, I think, unless there's any breaking news, we've got a studio show with Ricky. So that will be going up tonight at 8 o'clock, so look forward to that. Loads of football, though. We've got so much football for you on this channel. 3 games tomorrow, and then 4 games every day for about 10 days. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, it's free to do it. And just like yesterday with the charity stream where we raised 32 grand in 12 hours and had like 10,000 watching throughout, make sure you're tuning in for the watch-alongs and getting involved. You're very, very welcome. Rogine says, on paper, England should walk the group, but I haven't seen England put in a Man City performance against any decent opposition, so doubt is fair, says Rogine. I'm quite relaxed about England. I want us to do well. Obviously, being English, I want us to do well, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we're absolutely shite. So I'm quite relaxed about it. So yeah, tomorrow there's 3 games. Senegal, Netherlands at 4, England, Iran at 1, and USA, Wales at 7. So we'll be live for all of those. And then from 10 a.m. on Tuesday, when it's Argentina and Messi, what 10 a.m. games. I'm here for this. I'm here for this. Argentina against Saudi Arabia at 10 o'clock on Tuesday starts a run of days where we've got 4 every day. 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then there's no break day until for 2 weeks. But we've effectively got 10 days of 4 games a day, which is mad. I didn't realise League One was still playing on. Do you think Qatar can turn it around, says Pilot? Never say never in the world of football. Never say never in the world of football. You know, let's be honest. 2-0 is a dangerous score, but if they find a way back to get a result from here, I'll give them the money myself. What do you think of Saudi Arabia versus Argentina, says HSM? I think this is why I've gone for Messi as Golden Boot winner. You know, can't lie now. I've done my predictions. Who do you think is going to win the Golden Boot, by the way? I'll ask you lot. But 44% are going with the quarterfinals for England. 24% are going round of 16. 20% have actually gone with semi-final, and then in fourth place they'll go out in the group stage. So no one's really expecting us to go out in the group stage. The vast majority expecting the quarterfinal, which for me would be enough to sack Southgate. Yeah. Is it true that English ref? I don't know what you're on about, Marcus C. I think you're trying to catch me out with the name. What do you think? I've done that one. Okay. Messi doesn't score that many goals for Argentina, so I think Messi as Golden Boot winner is underrated. I think it's, you know, Messi doesn't score loads of goals for Argentina, so predicting Messi to win the Golden Boot, I think, is a bit out there. I actually think Ronaldo's got more chance of doing it. But I just think that group that Argentina are in, there's quite a few goals in it. So I'm going for Messi, yeah. Harry Kane could do it, you know. Harry Kane could do it. Most of England's goals are scored by Harry Kane. Uni or England game tomorrow, Mike? I need your help, says Jack. I'll see you at 12:30 on That's Football then, mate. You know what to do. What's wrong with Southgate, says Gora? What's right? He's, you know, I'll be polite about Southgate here. He wouldn't get a job in the Premier League, so why is he managing England? Name me a club in England, in the English Premier League, that would give him a job. To be honest with you, I think most Championship clubs wouldn't give him a job, and yet people are telling me he's a good coach. Do you still think World Cup? Do you still think the World Cup should only be in the summer? If that's the case, that means half the world can't host it, says Skank. Yeah. Mate, you've asked me this before. What? I'm not changing my mind. I don't think the World Cup should happen in the winter. End of. It's my opinion. It's not. I'm not discriminating against other countries because I'm not like that. You're asking me a question. Should the World Cup be in the summer? Yes. USA 94 was played in a heat wave. It was bloody boiling hot. It was still a good tournament. Messi scores for Argentina like every game, says Ronan. And can you give Kean a kiss, says Oscar? Impossible. Kiefer Moore for the Golden Boot. And what do you think of? I'm not talking about that, Kaz. I'm bored of being asked about that, so I will not answer that. I'm bored of it. Rumours are Mbappe will come on for Qatar, says Ansel. Players coming out for the second half. I tell you what, I would love to see, and it would make it the best World Cup ever. It is the last World Cup we're going to see Messi and Ronaldo. People are saying, oh no, they might get another one. If they play another one together, they'll both be walking around with Zimmer frames. They'll be well past their best. This is the absolute last World Cup where we'll get anywhere near Messi and Ronaldo at a high level. So for me, I would love to see Portugal-Argentina final. I think apart from England getting to the final and winning it, I'd love to see Portugal-Argentina final. I think that would be fantasy. I don't think it will happen, but I would love to see it. Argentina-Portugal final would be brilliant. The two best players possibly ever going head-to-head in their last World Cup would be amazing, but I don't think we'll see it, but I'd love to see it. Somebody said in the chat it can't happen. They'll play each other before. It can happen. Any final can happen. It just means that it might not be likely to happen, but as long as they're on different sides of the draw, it can happen. Players coming out for the second half are about to start here. Is there a way back for Qatar? I don't think so. I actually think if Ecuador go for it, they could win it 4 or 5-0. Will they do that, or will they show respect to the hosts? Probably the latter. I wouldn't be surprised if it finished 2-1 or something like that. I don't think they'll push for it. Do you think Germany could win it? I think Germany have got some good younger players coming through. I don't think anyone's really talking about Germany winning it, but the thing about Germany is they know how to win it. They've got that mentality of that they know how to win it, so they're always dangerous. Abhishek, thank you very much for your super chat. Isaac says, do you think heat will be a disadvantage? I don't know how hot it is. People are saying, oh, it's not even that hot. So it's difficult to say. Also, they've got this air conditioning. I mean, when England play tomorrow, it's going to be about 28 degrees. Which isn't particularly hot, but it's humid, isn't it? It's very, very humid. So it might not be a problem at all. Gary Neville and team in Qatar didn't even discuss the offside. I wonder why, says IQ. There's a lot of people out there making a lot of money, mate. They're not going to upset people, are they? I mean, look, I ain't got a problem with Gary Neville going out to Qatar. My biggest problem was when I saw him. I didn't realise he was doing it with Richard Keys and Andy Gray. I was like, oh my God, that's almost as bad as going to Qatar in the first place. Is Ecuador on the attack, but nothing will come of that. Germany are 11-1, says Paul Gray. Heat will be a factor, says Michael Talbot. Well, I hope you're all gonna join me tomorrow. I don't know what to wear tomorrow. Let me just show you what my options are. I'm still here. I've got some options. So I've got my normal England tracksuit, which I normally wear, but I also got sent one of these, which is the latest England type. It's very bright. I've got that, and I've also got the Italia 91, which is in red, and also I think I've got an England white one as well. So I don't know whether to wear that tomorrow. I might wear that one. So yeah, people are saying it's a bit. Yeah, people like it. People like it. It's very red, isn't it? It is very red. It is very red. But yeah, I might wear that tomorrow. I've got my tracksuit as well. I might wear that. Don't wear a shirt at all for Sleepless for Life yet. That's something different. Very different. Do it in your pants like Gary Lineker, says Hyper. Does he do it in his pants? Messi has 91 goals for Argentina and is the highest scoring South America and scored 5 goals in a single match this year. RJ, I'm just trying to be out the box and pretend that he doesn't score many goals. I've been rumbled by RJ. What's your product, Mark? Says Alec. Don't know what that means. Beerus says, this is the best community on the internet right here. It was a brilliant community yesterday. Can't believe how much money we raised. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. £32,000 raised for people with terminal illness in 12 hours. Crazy. Neymar or Ronaldinho? Ronaldinho. I was thinking about this morning, actually. I'm glad you just reminded me. I do think Neymar is a very, very good footballer, but I was trying to think in my lifetime what players I would rank above Neymar who are Brazilian. So R9, 100%. Ronaldinho, 100%. Alec, thank you very much. And I'd probably put him in there. I'd put him above Rivaldo. I'd put him above Romario. I haven't seen Pele. Would you put him ahead of Kaká? I think I would put him ahead of Kaká. I do like Kaká, but I think I would put him ahead of Kaká. Messi's not Brazilian. Zico was before my time, but I would put him behind Ronaldinho and R9, and then let's have a chat about that. Anyone else? I would put him ahead of Rivaldo. Ecuador on the attack. So it'd be third place for me. It'd be third place behind R9 and Ronaldinho. Some people put him ahead of Ronaldinho, though. If you're putting him ahead of R9, you don't deserve to watch football. Roberto Carlos was a left back. Dani Alves was a right back. Cafu was a right back. If we're talking Brazilians in general, I'm talking about Brazilian attackers. Fred, it's difficult. What do you think of Tuchel for England manager? Says it's. Well, I would take him. I mean, if you're asking me whether I want to keep Southgate or to get Tuchel, I would take him. Definitely, yeah. Robinho. He could have been so good, Robinho. What? Didn't he go to prison? Mogul says, does Neymar have a Ballon d'Or? Ronaldo's got one. Ronaldinho's got one, he says. A bit of a debate going on about whether Kaká is better than Neymar. We can do a poll if you want. I mean, either or. Kaká. Neymar. I think Neymar's got to have a big tournament, by the way. Got to have a big tournament. The thing that excites me about everyone who's predicting that Brazil are going to win it is that I know a lot of Brazil players and Argentinian players do play in Europe, but when it actually comes to international football, there might be it might be like, Brazil might not be as good as Belgium. They might not even be able to beat Belgium. You just don't know, because they don't actually play each other competitively that often, do they? It's close between Neymar and Kaká. Get your votes in. Mark, would you take Sean Dyche as England manager? No, Joel. No, God, no. No. I mean, I can't believe we had Sam Allardyce. That's a lovely ball. Lovely run by Ecuador here. If they'd scored that, it would have been a great goal. It was a lovely run from the midfield. I don't know who it was. Anyone know who this was for Ecuador? These yellow shirts, I can't see the numbers. Lovely run, all on his left foot. And really, they should have probably scored, at least got a shot. Oh, I can see now. Lovely little run that was. Piazza. Plata, sorry. Plata. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Good run. Some of this audience won't have seen Kaká play. Definitely. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner, and don't forget, tomorrow 1 p.m. UK time, it's England against Iran. It's our first big game of the World Cup. This is the opening game, and Qatar have been very disappointing, let's be honest, but Ecuador have done it quite easy. Who in the current Premier League is the next Neville and Carragher as pundits, says Matthew Larney. Well, that's presuming you think Neville and Carragher are good pundits. Thanks for subscribing, Glyn. Best French player. I like doing this. August says, all right, you've done Brazil. Who's your best 3 French players of your lifetime? Zinedine Zidane, without a question. Thierry Henry. And then my third choice would probably be... Oh, lovely ball. This could be 3-0. Oh, he didn't get it out of his feet. Good save by the keeper, though. He got a shot off. Did you get any details on the Martial and Gore altercation at practice today? And do you think we can sign Vardiel? No, I think he's going to Chelsea, mate. Kyle. I think the training ground altercation was nothing to write home about. Surely Dyche is better than Prattgate, says Jack. Yeah, but you don't just want better. You want the best you can get. Yeah, Henry, Zidane, and... I mean, Vieira was very good. I mean, I'm not discussing Griezmann or Pogba. I think Vieira was fantastic. I mean, Benzema probably deserves a shout as well. But I'm not old enough for Platini. Oh, there's another yellow card here. Mendes. Quite a few yellow cards. I do wonder about that. I mean, you know, this is what we're talking about as well. That is a definite yellow card as well. He scrapes down his ankle. That will really hurt. I mean, yeah, that's nasty. That is. That's definitely a yellow. We haven't had a chance to talk about that because the World Cup has just come to us very, very quickly. But you know, we normally would have conversations about the refereeing. Cantona, says Alex G. I've not really read anything about the protocol from the referees as to what they've got to do, and but we've had quite a few yellow cards in this game, and I wonder, the World Cup is always a tournament where the refereeing is a little bit, they've got guidance that's not normal, and they have something that they want to really make an impact on. So it'd be interesting to see how the referees manage these games. Kaká better than Neymar for me. That 07 Champions League run is one of the greatest from a player, says Emmanuel. Well, Neymar won with 56% of the vote, but I expected him to win because it's recency, really. I probably would go Neymar over Kaká anyway, and I'm old enough to remember Kaká, so, I don't have a massive problem with that. Apparently there's a headline from the Telegraph here saying that FIFA have banned Harry Kane and England from wearing the One Love armband at the World Cup. Kaká will get the nostalgic vote, but on ball, Neymar is basically a futsal freestyler, says Rogine. It could happen to any one of us. Well, I know England and Wales were planning to defy FIFA with the One Love armbands, but apparently they've banned it. The One Love armband, if anybody doesn't know what it's all about, it promotes diversity and inclusion and is a symbol aimed at standing up to discrimination. But as people are saying, don't mix politics and football. Aren't they wearing one? Isn't there an armband they're wearing anyway? I don't know. Well, this, somebody just said it there. Abiola just said it there. Where's the World Cup being hosted? It's Qatar. It's their rules. This is what people voted for Qatar to have the World Cup. It's their rules in the World Cup, isn't it? I'm not getting involved in all that. I've said my bit. I don't agree with this World Cup on many levels. We've got it. We're football fans. Let's watch the football. Play football, innit? Says Loof. Exactly. I'm just, the thing I'm here to watch is the football. I'm looking forward to watching the football. I don't agree with this World Cup. I don't agree with where the time of year it's being played and how. My biggest thing, and I'm repeating myself here, my biggest issue with this World Cup is how many games everybody had to play before it and how many games everyone's got to play after it. I just don't think it's humanly possible to put players through that sort of level of demand, and ultimately it always just comes down to money, doesn't it? Never forget when Kaká embarrassed Everton Hines at Old Trafford. They were very good, Danny D. They were very, very good. So we've had an hour here, half an hour to go. Still 2-0 to Ecuador, and I still think that Ecuador are playing with them a little bit. Although we've got an injury here. Seems to have hurt himself in the slide tackle there. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Get involved. We're going to do every game as a watch along, and tomorrow you will see the studio being used for some of the watch alongs as well. Looking forward to that. So if you're watching games across the World Cup, you know that you can come on That's Football and get chatting and having a bit of a debate. And big shout out to OneFootball, who are sponsoring our stats carousel now. You can download OneFootball for free. It's a brilliant app for all your football news and stats. You can try it by scanning the QR code, which I'm going to try it now, see if it works. Or you can go through the link in the video description. I've been wanting to try it ever since I've seen it. And I'm going to. Where's my camera? And it does work. Oh, that's very intelligent. There we go. Oh, header just wide from Qatar there. Ryder says, being silent and impartial favours the oppressor. Or, evil prospers when good people sit back and do nothing. Spider-Man. I still think Batman 2, The Dark Knight, has the best quotes in it. I was using them in relation to Ronaldo last week, and it worked really well. The amount of nostalgia merchants in the chat is horrendous, says Sean. If you are Brazil's high scorer, you are better than other Brazil, says Sean. No, not necessarily. Klose has scored a lot of goals for Germany. He's not their best player in the last 20 years. The match ball is very bland. I've got one of those match balls. I think we've got it in the studio if you look at it on the video we did on United Stand. I think it's right next to my right leg. But some people get really excited about balls, don't they? To me, they're all the same. Can you kick them and score a goal with them? The fact we now discover sporting events being fixed, does it mean the conspiracy theory about it is absolutely true, Mark, says the Almighty? And not taking Tomori has made me lose some hope, says Alex. The thing is, I completely agree with you. I look at that England defensive options. I mean, did you see that skill by Harry Maguire yesterday? And as good as it is, I was like, who is the defender that's getting turned by Harry Maguire there? Because he's a centre-back doing skill moves. And I'm not taking anything away from Harry Maguire. It was a good bit of skill, but you shouldn't be getting beaten by, Harry Maguire on a skill move because he's massive and you should be able to read it. It's Connor Cody. And you go, well, this is the problem with England centre-backs. You've got Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire, Connor Cody. They're all very similar, old-fashioned, I'd be good in the 80s centre-backs. There's no diversity in the centre-back positions for England. And what I mean by diversity is they're all very similar centre-backs. There's no modern, mobile, agile centre-back. Stones is the closest we've got to it, or Kyle Walker, who's a right-back. So I completely agree. One of Dyer, Maguire and Cody should not be there for a Guehi or a Tomori or even a Joe Gomez, just to give you something different. But why I think it will probably work is because Southgate's very boring and pragmatic. And actually, in international football, it is quite slow. So it probably benefits Dyer, Cody and Maguire because international football is quite slow. So we'll probably be fine. But for me, if I was playing a back four, I agree with the chat. I'd play Ben White and John Stones. Yeah, but Benjamin says Ben White exists. Do you know why Ben White's going to the World Cup? He would be in the same list as Tomori. The only reason Ben White's going to the World Cup is because Reece James didn't make it. If Reece James had been fit, Ben White wasn't going. And people don't realise that. They're like, oh, Ben White's there, Ben White's there. Ben White's not been picked there because he's a mobile, agile centre-back. He's been picked because Reece James is injured. So But I think we'll get away with it because I think international football is quite slow. Best World Cup tournament in your opinion? I loved Italia '90. You should watch the. It might be a bit old for some of you, but there's a good 4-part series on Sky at the moment called 4 Weeks That Changed the World. All about Italia '90. Loved it. I tell you what will annoy me if he doesn't pick Bellingham and picks Calvin Phillips. I'll be like, what are you doing? But then again, some people would say, what's the difference between picking Calvin Phillips and Harry Maguire? Neither of them play much football for their team. People nowadays only care about goals. No one seems to like ballers anymore, players who can manipulate the ball in various ways and also be impactful, says Regine. Well, you make a great point there, Regine, because I think the modern football fan is more appreciative of the creation of goals and not just the scoring of goals. And you think about people like De Bruyne. But I was watching Italy in Italia '90, and there was this striker called Toto Schillaci, who came from nowhere and really, I think he won the Golden Boot. He just came from nowhere. He came off the bench for Italy, and he got in the first team. But his first goal he scores is really good. But it's brilliant work by Vialli. But people of that era would probably not go, what brilliant work by Vialli to put the cross in. They'll probably just go Schillaci, because that's what it used to be like. I think creatives get more praise now than they used to get. I think Ecuador are going through the motions here. I think they could win this by a lot more. '86 was quality, says Paul. I don't remember '86. I vaguely remember walking into the living room and family were watching England Argentina, but I wouldn't have been old enough to really acknowledge football. I was about 20. Qatar showing the world money can buy you everything apart from skill, says LJ. We are going to do every single game, Huz, so get involved with the chat. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Big one tomorrow, England. Make sure you're tuning in from 12:30 for that one. Can Qatar do anything in this tournament? Their only chance is Senegal. I mean, are Senegal better than Ecuador? Hard to say, because Ecuador did finish 4th in the South American qualifiers. But it's very difficult to qualify from the African nations. So I think the Netherlands will breeze past them. Having said that, if the Netherlands win their first 2 games, they might end up playing a weakened side. Because I think Netherlands Qatar is the 3rd game in the group. But I don't think it's going to get any better for them. Mark, do you think people from other countries who don't have their team in the World Cup can support teams like England, Argentina, Brazil? Of course you can, sad man. Of course you can. I remember World Cup '94. I was at secondary school then. Mad about football, and this World Cup's on, and England aren't in it. Of course, you watched all the games. In some ways, it was horrible that England weren't in it, but in other ways, it was quite good because you would just watch all the games and be like, oh, I like that, I like that. You had no bias because you weren't that bothered. Obviously, I wanted Ireland to do well, but Italy as well, Brazil. Hadji goal. There were some good goals in USA '94, yeah. Affected, yeah. There was Saudi Arabia scored a very good goal, I remember. I tell you what, I don't remember the '86 World Cup, but I've watched a few highlight videos. There were some bloody good goals from Denmark in that World Cup. Was it Alkramaz or and Michael Laudrup, wasn't it? Houghton's goal against Italy. Why didn't we qualify live clips? Because we had Graham Taylor in charge, who was basically what Southgate's like, but didn't have very good players. I mean, Southgate has got an amazing collection of players. I mean, I don't think it's quite up there with the team that Ericsson had, who was another waster. But it is one of the best collection of English players we've had in my lifetime. I think Italia '90 and Euro '96, we were good, but the managers got the best out of what they had. I think 2002 to 2006, we had a very, very good squad of players, but Ericsson was boring and pragmatic. Now we've got a very good collection of players, but we've got another pragmatic manager. What I'd do for England to have a manager who wants to attack. I mean, England in the last time a non-European team won the World Cup was 2002 in Korea and Japan. Brazil won that tournament. England were 1-0 up. And we played half an hour. I think it was 2-1 at this point, but we were 1-0 up. Seaman let a stupid goal in, and we played half an hour against 10 men. I mean, people talk about Southgate, but Ericsson was the biggest pragmatic, boring manager you'll ever get. Quarter-final of the World Cup against Brazil, you're against 10 men for half an hour, and we did bloody nothing. That was the best chance we had to win the World Cup. We should have won that World Cup. We were never going to win it in 2018. Croatia were better than us, and France would have took us apart. But we should have knocked Brazil out, and we would have won that World Cup. And that doesn't get mentioned enough. The team was good, and Ericsson was just a pragmatic prat. We should have gone for that. Should have gone for that. Your heart. I think we were 2-1 down. I'm going to check this actually. We were definitely. What was it? Brazil. They'll have the match report here. 2-1, 2002 against England. I'll give you the facts here. Give me the report. Here we go. 2-1. Ronaldinho was sent off in the 58th minute. 58th minute. So we had 32 minutes against 10 men. I'm just trying to figure out when they scored. We scored first. Yeah, it was 2-1. It was 2-1. We scored first. They got the goals. And then Ronaldinho got sent off with 32 minutes to go. So we're 2-1. We're losing 2-1, and you've got 32 minutes against 10 men. We did fucking nothing. That one will always frustrate me because Brazil went on to bloody win it. I'll never understand why the FA threw money at Ericsson and Capello. I mean, we won't have another foreign coach because it didn't work. It didn't work because you went and got two foreign coaches who were boring, pragmatic coaches. Like, if you're going to go foreign, go and get somebody who's actually a baller. Still got 15 minutes to go here. Poor old Qatar. I think Owen scored in that game, yeah. Yeah, don't get me started on that. You already have 32 minutes against 10 men in a World Cup quarter final, and we went out with a whimper. We went out with an ant's fart. That was the best chance we had of winning a World Cup, apart from 90. I'm supporting any team that is facing England in the World Cup. Scooby-Doo, says Jack. Yeah, I get it. Nabil says, I wish England could win this World Cup, but as long as Southgate is here, we aren't winning. We lost the Euros and last World Cup because of him. I've done that. I've read that one, haven't I? Long distance shot from Afif there. Well over the bar. Yeah, we will be doing the England game tomorrow, so tune in for the Watchalong. Be a much better game than this. I'll be on tenterhooks. Hopefully a lot of you can actually watch it. Of course, it's 1 p.m. UK time, so on a Monday, people might have work and stuff. The Qatari players, I'm not reading that MUSC. Don't need anything like that. Another substitution coming in here. I think it's Valencia going off. It was a good header, but he was very lucky. It hit it. He didn't hit it. He didn't head that the way he wanted to. He wanted to head it with his forehead, and it caught him on the back of the head. So it looked a good header, and it was a good header, but he was a bit lucky. So Valencia comes off. Somebody just said, "What is the next game for Ecuador?" I presume it will be on Thursday, and I think they're playing the Netherlands. No, Friday. Yeah, they're playing the Netherlands at 4 o'clock on Friday, and Qatar are playing Senegal at 1 o'clock on Friday. So, yeah. Turkey deserved 2002, forgot Rivaldo or 1-2 score, says Sinan. Didn't South Korea go to the semi-finals in that as well? There was a really... I might be wrong, but I think there was a really controversial game against Italy, wasn't there? Was it South Korea? Again, one of the host nations. I think something happened between South Korea and Italy, but they got to the semi-finals. There's going to be another yellow card here. Can you wear Japan kit for the game against Germany? Says Che. If I'm doing it. Is it true your dad supports Chelsea? Says Live Clips. Yep. Thierry Henry handball against Ireland. Oh, Chris. Did he ever apologise for that? Because he should have done. Brett says, I only want to see one thing this World Cup. Either England win or we get served up so bad it forces Southgate out. You know what, Brett? I sort of... It's hard to have that mindset, but I know where you're coming from. I mean, obviously I want England to win the World Cup, but what I don't want us to do is bore everybody to death getting to the semi-final and they give him a new contract. I'd rather we failed terribly and get rid of him than grind it out to the semi-final and be shit. Yeah, so I want us to be either really good or, well, I don't want us to be really bad, but if we're not going to be good, may as well be really bad and get rid of him. I will be doing some watch-alongs in the new studio, yes, Mohammed. Not all of them, but I will be doing some. One England player I think that could light up the tournament. Well, what do you think? I actually think Phil Foden's the one you've got to get the most out of, because I watch him play for Man City and I think he's unbelievable. And I watch him for England and I think he's invisible. But I think that's down to coaching. I mean, Pep Guardiola is one of the best coaches in the world. And obviously... 3-0? No, over the bar. Southgate just doesn't know what to get out of him. I mean, Foden, Saka, Bellingham, there's so many. I like Grealish for England as well. Here's a poll for you. That South Korea versus Italy game or Chelsea versus Barcelona game, you'll know the one I'm talking about. Drogba, it's a disgrace. I remember that one, Rogine, as well. That Barcelona-Chelsea one. I mean, I wanted Barcelona to win because Chelsea were a rival, but even I was watching that going, oh my God. It's one of the worst referee games I've ever seen. Although, the worst one I've ever done as a watch-along was the Chelsea-Arsenal final of the FA Cup a few years ago. I've never quit a watch-along. No matter how boring or bad it is, I'll go to the 90th minute. I stopped the watch-along after 70 minutes. Anthony Taylor, Chelsea-Arsenal FA Cup final. I just couldn't watch it. I was like, that is one of the worst refereeing displays I've ever seen. So I just stopped the stream. I was like, that's dreadful. But that Barcelona-Chelsea one was bad. I don't remember the Italy-South Korea one. I don't remember what the contentious issues were. I just remember there was major uproar about it. And obviously South Korea were a host nation, so people were like, "Oh, it's a fix." Ecuador on the attack again. Nice little roll. Got no supports. Well, we've had a steady 17,000 watching throughout this game, which has been pretty much... Oh, it could be... No. Which has been pretty much one-way traffic. I wonder how many we'll get tomorrow for the England game. I'm looking forward to it. Some big games tomorrow as well. I'm looking forward to Wales-USA at 7 o'clock tomorrow night as well. I think that's going to be a cracker. I mean, that's a game... This is the great thing about when the groups are good. Wales USA is a game. If either of them lose it, you're almost packing your bags, aren't you? Because not necessarily, but you've got, if Iran's not going to be easy for Wales or USA, and England's going to be their toughest game. So if you lose tomorrow, it's a big one. Do you reckon you could get Gary Neville in the studio? I don't think he would do it at MUFC. I just don't think he would, but he's very welcome to. England match on during college tomorrow. Might try to sneak on to the Watchalong with AirPods, says Daniel. Yeah, good idea. Martial didn't get called up to the French squad, no, August, because Deschamps decided not to call anybody else up. I don't know why you wouldn't call somebody up. I mean, what if you get a couple of injuries in the tournament? Surely you call somebody up. Netherlands tomorrow as well will be good. He's going to shoot from distance, surely. Well, I suppose you could say that Qatar have fought valiantly in the second half. I still don't really feel that Ecuador... I don't feel like Ecuador have really gone for this. Cosmic says, is it the worst opening game ever? I would say this to you. If it wasn't the World Cup opener, would you ever sit and watch Qatar-Ecuador? And there you get your answer. This is a mismatch. This is a decent Ecuador team playing in third gear against the Qatar side, which is not of this level. That's what we've just spent our time watching. I didn't enjoy Russia-Saudi Arabia 4 years ago. That was a mismatch, but this is on a different level. Unfortunately, this game is exactly what some people said it was going to be. This is a World Cup that's been bought by a nation that's not good enough. I think the only positive is they've not been humiliated. Like, it could have been 4, 5, 6. So 2-0 is not a bad scoreline for Qatar, but I think Ecuador could have made it a lot more. Will Manchester United player lift the World Cup trophy this tournament, says C. I'd like to think so. I really think a World Cup is better when a host nation does well. But you've got to share it out. I agree with that. Someone in the chat just said that Qatar is a football nation. Shut up. Why do people always have to get so political about it? They play football, so they're a football nation. Okay, if that's your definition, that was not what I meant. I said that when I say they're not a footballing nation, they don't belong in this World Cup. They're not good enough for it. San Marino are a footballing nation. They don't play in the World Cup. Like, it's a personal choice. Do you think World Cup should be awarded to teams that would never play in the World Cup? Or do you think the World Cup should only be given to people who are good enough to qualify for it? That's a personal choice. Personally, I think if you're going to play in the World Cup, you shouldn't be getting embarrassed. You should have the ability to actually be able to qualify for it. Now, I don't think Qatar are quite there yet. They might prove us wrong. I mean, Senegal, they've got to improve massively. Maybe they've just been blinded by the lights. Maybe they're just nervous and everything. But I've not really seen in 85 minutes any phase of play that makes me think they're any better than a National League side. I might be completely wrong. I hope that they can give Senegal a game, because it would be lovely to see a host nation do well. But this has got, we've all watched loads of football games, this actually absolutely reeks of the better side being 2-0 up in 15 minutes and taking their foot off the pedal. Someone said there's a lot of empty seats. No, there is. Oh my God. I thought it was a joke. There are a lot of empty seats. Good shot. There's a lot of Ecuador fans. I tell you what, there's a lot of Ecuador fans. Well, there's a lot of yellow shirts. It's a massive stadium though. What's the capacity of this stadium? I never thought they would be able to legitimately fill the stadiums anyway. It's a lot of money to go to Qatar for people. Oh, cross coming in. They're pushing late on, 86 minutes. Cross into the box. Keeper gets hold of that. Thanks for subscribing, Glyn. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Well, you know what? The positive I would say is that with the World Cup is over. It's not over. I'm not writing it off yet. The positive I would say is the World Cup is open for business. This was the game I was most fearing because it's just like, how do you even get excited about Qatar, Ecuador? We knew it was coming for months, but every other game really you've got something. Like you have tomorrow, you've got obviously England, Iran, Senegal, Netherlands, I think it'll be good. USA, Wales, they're all watchable games. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, you've got Messi. Mexico, Poland, it's Lewandowski and I like Mexico. Denmark, Tunisia, you've got Denmark and Tunisia could cause a shock. France, Australia. I think all the other games from here on in are pretty good games. I think this is probably the one to get out of the way and just go to sleep tonight and say, it's England tomorrow. That's how I feel about it. So I'm sort of glad it's out of the way in a way. And we move on to the ones tomorrow. So please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're only 300 away from 813,000. You know, you got to have. If you want the sunshine, you got to have. If you want the rainbow, you got to have the rain. I think this has been the rain, hasn't it? It's not been great, but we've had some good conversations. I enjoyed the top 3 Brazilian players. Why are the people with the red kit segregated from the people in the white? Lots leaving, says Jonathan Garland. I don't know what's going on. It's an 80,000 seater stadium. I'm quite proud of myself. I had a cup of tea in the first half and the bladder has held out. I am desperate, but I've done okay. Do you genuinely think that Senegal can get something out of Qatar? Sorry, Qatar can get something out of Senegal. Genuinely? No. It's a 60k seater, this one, apparently. Five minutes added on. The one time you wanted him to just do 2. Very happy about this result, says Darwin. For Ecuador, we were struggling in the friendlies, thought we were going to struggle. Yeah, good. Well done. Hi, Mark. Ecuador played well. Good goals. The World Cup is up and running. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to Ecuador's next game. I'd like to see how good they genuinely are. I think that would be interesting to see. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. Fantastic community we've got. I'm excited about England-Iran tomorrow. I'm really actually hoping Iran are good. I'm one of those people, like when United, I prefer United when we play Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. I can't stand the Bournemouth games. You know, when you're expected to win against teams that are, you know, underdogs. I like to play games against teams that are good, because then if you play well, you can really be happy about it. So, yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Make sure you tune in for that. England, Iran. Netherlands at 4, and then United States against Wales. I can't wait for that one as well. A lot of hype around the USA. Wales just doing their thing. Interesting. Barath says, Iran are really, really good, Mark. They're like Italy light. Okay. Hi, Mark. Have you got a favourite Van Halen song? Jump. It's the only one I know. Can Netherlands win the World Cup? I mean, they could. They've been in. I remember them in the final in 2010 against Spain. I don't think they will. I mean, Spain are a team that no one ever talks about. I don't think they can win it, but no one ever talks about Spain. I tell you what, one of the big disappointments is there's not been many shots on target. Nothing on target from Qatar. 3 on target from Ecuador. 50-50 possession. I really do think Ecuador have played in second gear. You look at those stats, and that's pretty equal. But if you've watched the game, I think there's a big difference. Marwin's not happy. Spain haven't had any teeth up front for a while, have they really? Lots of people leaving the stadium early. Well, I think there'll be a lot of disappointment, won't there? They've waited a long time for this World Cup, and they probably were thinking, we're going to do something, and this is their first, probably their best chance of getting points. Worst World Cup opener ever, says Stephen the Hazard. All Ecuador, aren't we, says Alfie. Well, you know, you don't want the host nation not enjoying the football, do they? But maybe they're losing interest in it already. Hi, Mark. Enjoy your content. Just to say, ignore the haters who accuse you of being discriminatory. Some people just like to put their heads in the sand and prefer not to face reality, says Robert. Well, I haven't been discriminatory at all. We've been talking about football. Taremi had 43 goals and assists for Porto last season, says Pash. Giannos wants to see Brazil or Argentina to win it. It's been a while. I would love an underdog to win it. I mean, I'd love to see a team like Ecuador win it, or Mexico. I don't think they ever will, but I certainly don't want a European team to win it. I want it to be non-European this time, unless it's England, of course, which I'm not expecting. Ferran Torres is dating the daughter of Luis Enrique, says VWR. The games get better tomorrow, Moose. I think we're all waiting for that. We've got this game out of the way. That's the main thing. Well done to us all. We all deserve a pat on the back. Thoughts on Canada, says Keller. I'm looking forward to seeing Canada. Lots of people say to me Canada are quite good. Lots of people have said to me the United States are quite good. I've looked at their squad and gone, okay, there's 1 or 2 players in there that are decent. 3 or 4 I know. But I don't see where this Canada and USA stuff is coming from. So I'm interested to watch them, especially Wales tomorrow night. We'll be doing that. See what they're like. I think that's a good gauge of what United States are, because Wales are okay. You know, they're a decent European side. They're not one of the greatest, but they're a decent side. So if USA are good, they've got to go and deliver. And there it is, the final whistle. It's there. It's an easy win for Ecuador. Qatar, out. No, they're not out yet. But I think Ecuador looked like they were playing in third gear. But there we go. There we go. Right, don't forget to tune in tomorrow lunchtime for the England game against Iran. That's where the World Cup really starts tomorrow. Very exciting. Looking forward to that. And we've got our video with Ricky in the studio coming up on the United Stand very, very soon. I might put it out at 7 o'clock, actually. He's in the studio for his debut, talking about the Ronaldo situation. So check that out on the United Stand at 7. I'll be back in the morning as normal with the 10 o'clock show on the United Stand. And then that's football back here. Got you covered. Thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to everyone yesterday for the community contributions to the brilliant charity stream we did yesterday. I almost think I know yesterday was about raising money for people who need it, but I think actually watching that for 2 hours, you deserve a bloody a medal. Well done, everyone. Don't forget to check out the United Stand tonight and in the morning, and I'll see you back on here tomorrow for the England game. Bring it on. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all in a bit.